Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Great article from Yahoo Finance. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. So, this is an interesting one. So, Hans Vestberg, Verizon CEO, is telling the market that customers are starting to keep their phone longer than 36 months. And that's why the upgrade rates have been lower percentage wise. And in some cases, the analysts and the investors, they have reacted to it in a negative way when that never used to be the case. So kind of comparing the two, right? The 5G era now versus LTE. And in all honesty, during the LTE time, where spectrum was really limited, especially for Verizon, they had the least amount of spectrum per customer. Verizon needed to have its base really on the newest, latest, and greatest devices to take advantage of the most efficient technology at that time. So when LTE started and Verizon launched Band 13, and then they got XLTE going, they immediately needed their customers to get a device that could aggregate 13 and 4, Band 4, for a better experience. If there was a customer at that time out there that only had access to Band 13, their experience just simply suffered. It was a bad experience, worse in many cases. So those customers, Verizon needed to make sure that their store reps knew they needed to upgrade that base more aggressively. So rather that meant calling customers and telling them they're due for upgrades, whatever they needed to do it. And then as the technology evolved and it got to LTE advanced, customers had to upgrade or their experience just severely suffered. It was a point that the reps, the customer care reps, they needed to stress that, because that was really the difference in many cases of you being able to use your phone and your phone being a paperweight. That's how drastic of a difference the newer technology, the more efficient technology, the carrier aggregation combos made a difference. You know, if you were an LTE and the carriers already had 4 or 5 carrier aggregation combos and you were still on a device that had only 2 carrier aggregation combos, I mean, you were behind on performance, experience, everything. Now in 5G, that's not the case. You don't need 5 carrier aggregations today to have a great experience, because the midband can still provide excellent performance. If you have a device today that can only do 2 carrier aggregation or 3 carrier aggregation, you are still likely having a experience today on your device that is not needing you to upgrade. You don't have to call in constantly, hey, why is this not working? Why is that not working? You just have a flawless experience, and you can see it in the churn numbers as well. Look at AT&T. They posted 0.72%, and they don't even have all of their midband deployed yet. So today, the customers are having the best possible experience without needing the best possible device. So T-Mobile today already has 5 carrier aggregation. And me as a tech enthusiast, wireless enthusiast, I want to have that latest and greatest. So I will be upgrading to the 16 Pro Max. But I feel today, I don't think the 5 carrier aggregation is going to give me a huge significant boost. So if I didn't do the channel, if I wasn't a wireless enthusiast, I probably would be okay with the 15 Pro Max for a few years to come, until T-Mobile does something drastically, right? Until they start deploying the C-band and everything else and aggregating all those combos, then I would probably see a huge difference on performance, but it still wouldn't change the overall experience day to day, if that makes sense. And that's where I'm getting with this. Once you're on the standalone core, even if you don't have 5 carrier aggregation today, if you can take advantage of 300 megabits, if you can take advantage of the lower ping, right, the 15, 16, 17 millisecond pings, you are having the same experience day to day as someone that has the latest and greatest device. That just wasn't the case during LTE. If you're on the older device and someone had a newer device, they had a better experience on the newer device because the carriers were strapped on spectrum. They couldn't push hundreds of megahertz of channels into the network like they can today. And that's where I feel the customer, the average consumer, is simply just saying, this device still works, let me keep it longer. Back then, once again, that was tough. That was a tough call to make, because everywhere you went, you called customer care, you went to a store up, they all told you needed to upgrade to a newer device to take advantage of the better technologies of the network. And like I said, during LTE, that was really the case. You got 4x4 MIMO, you got 256 QAM during LTE. You just needed those technologies to boost the performance of your device, or your overall day-to-day experience, because you had all these new use cases coming in, right? You had FaceTime, you had apps like Snapchat, Uber, all that. You needed the best performing device. Today, not the case. If you still have a 14 Pro Max as an example, even a 13 Pro Max, your experience is likely still the same as someone that has a 15 Pro Max and that will get a 16 Pro Max. It is likely still sending the text messages the same, loading the video the same. Everything likely remains the same. Now, as we get further along, as we get to 5G advanced, and that could change, right? Because as we get new use cases, Apple Intelligence is fully rolled out. That could change, right? That conversation could change. But for now, the experience is largely the same, even on older 5G devices today. So just wanted to put that out there. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know why people are keeping, and yes, I will throw this in there. The economy does play a part in that too. People are more budget conscious. They're more price conscious, spending conscious. So let me not forget that. But I do think a big part of that is the older devices today are performing great. So let me know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See you on the next one. Peace.